This mercenary went to prison and fought of two gangs of prisoners alone and kills a drug dealer. He escapes prison as the brother of the drug boss sends professional killers to hunt him down. The movie starts as we see a man named Rake in a coma. His colleagues are seen beside him. The female is named Nick and the male Yaz. 9 months later we see Rake waking up from his coma and exercising to get better. He is discharged from the hospital and we see him in a secluded area. Nick tells him to spend his retirement in the house and make more memories. They leave and we see Rake leaving his day-to-day life. He comes home to meet a man sitting in front of his house. The man says that Rake's ex-wife named Mia sent him. He says that Mia's sister named Keto has been held captive by her husband in the prison he is in. His mission is to save her sister and her 2 kids. We see Keto and her husband in prison. They argue about how the kids haven't seen the sunlight for a while. Her husband named David leaves and we see his son named Sandro saying that he wants to join his father's business. Mirab is informed that his brother, David's prison sentence has been extended by 10 years. Mirab calls in the judge and has a conversation with him. He kills the judge using a rake and asks his men to bury him. Rake calls Nick and tells her about the new mission. Rake is seen training for his mission, which is to start in 6 weeks. He trains body to be strong and also his fighting skills. 6 weeks later we see Yaz driving to the prison. Rake gets out of the car. He goes inside and he gives money to the guard. The guard turns the light off and Rake goes in. He follows an arrow and gets to Keto and her kids. They follow Rake when the little girl named Nina leaves her toy and it makes noise. A prisoner wakes up and blows a whistle to wake his fellow inmates. Rake takes the family and tries to find his way out whilst taking directions from Yaz. Rake opens a door and they meet Muslims praying. The Muslims attack Rake as he kills them off using his weapons. He causes an explosion pushing the prisoners back and opening the door for him. He helps the family to move outside when David comes in. He uses a metal bar to strike Rake to the ground. Rake gains his composure and tears David's hand and uses a knife to stab his neck. They manage to escape from there, but David's brother also attacked with his men. They destroy one of the cars from the inside using a bomb. Rake is about to get to their exit when his car is flipped by a bomb. Yaz and Nick come to help. Rake gets a first aid for Nina as she got hurt during the bombing. Mirab's men named the Nagazi are seen in a helicopter. Rake uses a machine gun to take it down. A second helicopter lands on the train and the men start to move in. Nick fights off the Nagazi in the control room and kills them off. Rake shoots at the Nagazi at his side. He uses close quarter combat to kill off 4 men. Rake shoots down the remaining helicopter and he realizes that the brakes for the train is out. The train rolls off as we see Rake rolling inside. They get out and Sandro asks about his father. Rake tells him that he killed him and Sandro gets angry. They sit in a plane and Yaz is seen making a call. He leaves the phone and Sandro takes it. He calls his uncle and tells him where they are headed after his uncle brainwashes him. Rake begins to remember his late son who died when he was just a kid. They arrive at their destination as Yaz makes the guys prepare new identities for the family. Sandro goes up to Rake, criticizing the work that he does. Rake tries to let him understand the situation, but Sandro seems to worship his uncle's lies. Rake speaks to Sandro and makes him believe that his mother loved him. Sandro comes clean and tells Rake that he called his uncle. Rake and the others get ready for battle. Sandro receives a text from Mirab and his mom catches him. A helicopter starts firing at the family and Yaz covers them. They go to the garage and we see Mirab's men shooting and killing the police. Sandro runs out of the car and Yaz goes after him. Sandro meets his uncle and a shootout begins between him and Yaz. Rake is blocked on the way as he struggles to keep the family safe. Nick gets to her brother and Mirab shoots her with a missile. The duo shoot their way out of there. Rake fights a guy with a knife weapon. He dodges all the attacks and kills him. Yaz and Nick are being pinned down. Rake comes in and helps them. Yaz and Nick head to the roof to take Murab's chopper. Rake and the family follow behind as we see Murab nearly shoots them. The Nagazis are seen waiting outside the elevator. Rake tricks them and comes out the door, killing them in the process. Nick also fights off the Nagazis on top of the roof. Rake uses the gym equipments to kill his attackers. He sees Nick sliding on a glass. He jumps and saves her. Yaz also fights off two of the Nagazi at the same time. Murab comes and shoots Rake's hand. He is shot by Nick and he is also seen hanging. Rake throws Nick to safety and he climbs the glass. He has a fight with Murab and Murab falls through the glass. The family and Nick go into the chopper. Yaz is shot by Murab and Rake comes to help. They take him into the chopper as Yaz struggles to breathe. They get to Rake's house as Nick cleans up his body. Mia comes to Rake and her sister. Murab's uncle tries to stop him from losing their soldiers. Murab kills his uncle. He calls Rake and asks him to meet. Rake goes into his car and Nick comes. He locks the car and drives away. He gets to Murab's place and starts destroying his means of transport. He meets one of the Nagazis and has a fight with him. He ends up getting shot but kills his attacker. He meets Sandro with a bomb vest and Murab with the detonator. Murab takes Sandro as hostage and makes him point the gun at Rake. Sandro struggles to shoot as Murab takes the gun. Nick comes in and Murab asks her to drop her gun or he would kill Sandro. Sandro causes a distraction and Murab and Nick shoot each other. Rake attacks Murab and we see Murab cutting Rake's hand. Rake uses a nail to stab Murab. Murab crawls as Rake keeps stabbing him. They both lie down and Rake shoots Murab in the head. The police come and take them away. They are being treated in jail hospital. Mia comes to visit Rake and tells him that the family is safe. He is supposed to be sent into his cell but is taken into a car. The black man that gave him the mission at the beginning of the movie comes. He says that his boss has a job for Rake and we see Nick also being released. The moral of the story is that, don't mess with the family of a mercenary. Like and subscribe.